Hi, it's Rod Young speaking here in New Zealand. It's Tuesday, 22nd of the 21st of April, the 2002. We've just had from the Prime Minister, Cabinet yesterday made the decision to extend for another week the lockdown procedure. So that's going to be another week, and then we're in what's called level 4, which is the stay in your own bubble at home and just essential, go to the supermarket. So level 3 is one where they have a little bit of flexibility, where shared parenting, that sort of thing, between children, like a grandmother can be brought into your bubble type thing if they live in a different place. But anyway, I'm not going to say what level 3 is. We've got another week to work that out, and then we're going to go into level 3 and then re-look at level 3. Either go back to 4 or stay at level 3. But at this stage, nothing changes. Absolutely nothing changes. We've been coming up to our probably of 28 days. We had about 24, 25. In America, they're up to 40,000 dead. Around the world, probably 160,000 dead. In America, there are about 700,000 that have caught it, which is not that many compared to 350 million people. Other countries are starting to experience various things. But the testing has been good. They had a boat that had 4,500 people on it, and they tested that, and that was good. They were able to do about a 96% test of the different people on board, and that gave them some very good results with young people. I think in the States about 700 people under the age of 50 have died. I think that's how it worked. The point being is that it is less effective to the younger generation. And the number of those that were asymptomatic, that got the virus on the ship and never actually had any issues, was very high. But they're infectious. They're very infectious. And that's the challenge of this. If open schools and still children get it, they can take it back to their the grandparents. So that's this tragic situation. If you're a grandparent, do you say, I want to send my grandchildren, don't send them back to school, homeschool them from now on? I mean, it's a bit of a challenge, isn't it? So that's a huge one. So even when we do come out of this, it's New Zealand's in a position when they say it's going to be the first country to have no more contacts. But then you have, for example, ships come in. A ship will come in from overseas picking up containers, and then you've got the crew. Well, are the crew allowed to go? Are they quarantined for 6 weeks? I mean, the risk for a country back to normal, and then somebody comes off a ship with the virus. So there's going to be huge changes. The whole nation's that's it's interesting. Trump made the comments about people coming in and out of the borders, and before this virus. But now it just shows you the disruption, and there are people in an economy, and there are businesses in the economy that just can't afford to have that sort of thing. There's a lot of things we should have, I feel, taken more seriously. Antibiotic resistance, for example. So there are certain things bringing disease over the borders, like antibiotic resistance, is a real challenge. So there's a number of different things. So yeah, countries are going to have different lockdown techniques, and it's a real challenge. The sociologists will have to look into what's going to go on globally. The economists, the demographers, really, the epidemiologists, and then make a decision from there. So that's the news. Just wanted a quick update, just to let you know that how New Zealand's going with regards to our 28 days in our lockdown. About 1,400, heading towards probably 1,500 people that have had it, and about, 10 that have died. The numbers aren't such like America, but then America's onto it as well. So And the testing is coming up. We're just worried about India, and we're just worried about Africa, those two big, very populous nations, with regards to... see, here we were able to keep our supermarkets going and our food, whereas countries that have populations, if they don't earn what that day, they haven't got money to spend on food, sort of a thing, which... someone said to me the other day, did you know that 35,000 children under the age of 5 years old die every single day, every 24-hour period? That's 35,000 children for want of just two things, and those two things is water and food. Not disease, not volcanoes blowing up, not asteroids hitting the earth, not disasters, not anything else, but just want of water or food. And that's 35,000 children a day die. So, we're putting a pandemic across an existing thing already. I'm a fan of the fence at the top of the cliff rather than the ambulance at the bottom. So America's going through a stage at the moment where they're challenging abortion. Personally, I see conception as the beginning of life, and you put all the barriers before the sperm and the egg meet, and make it fun, and make it work at that level, rather than the ambulance at the bottom of the cliff. I think New Zealand had about 19,000 abortions in a year, and sort of every year it went up from 12, and the next year 13, and then the year after 14, then 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So it's an issue that I hope will come out of this virus thing, where we're able to discuss that. And that's, it's not a woman's rights thing in that sense. It's, hey, what are the father and mothers doing, and what's happening in the society which allows that? Now, we're challenging it at the moment. We're challenging the way that the virus spreads. Well, the same thing with conception. How do unwanted pregnancies? And what is an unwanted pregnancy? I mean, you have to say what's happening that shouldn't be happening, which leads to that. And that's a bigger issue. And as a demographer, birth rates, death rates, migrational rates of human populations, that's something that I'm interested in. So health demography is something. It's been good. And so we're seeing a whole lot of scientists come out, which is another good thing. And our politicians need to be evidence-based and science-led. Listened to an interesting history on the WTO the other day. That was how it started in 45, and it went through, and it's tied to the nuclear and that sort of thing. So that's going to get examined, and I don't want to say any more than that. I just wanted a quick update just to let you know, if you're watching or a historical thing in 150 years, you want to listen to what someone's talking about as it develops with regards to the pandemic, and that's what I'm making these videos for. Subscribe if I've earned your subscription, and if I have some comments, I'll reply to those as well. So thank you very much, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.